Hi guys, it's Eileen from Plus Size to Plant-Based, and I wanted to talk today about going on a cruise as a plant-based or vegan individual. Plant-based and vegan is almost the same thing. It just depends on how far you're into it. Vegan, no use of animal products, even wearing leather and things like that. And in recent months, I'm 8 months vegan. Originally plant-based, but I did move in that direction of I don't want to, purchase leather or anything made with animal products. So, yeah, I do identify as vegan now. But I wanted to talk about my concerns on going on a regular cruise. If there was ever a time I was tempted to not be vegan anymore, it was on our Norwegian Gem boat. It's not the largest cruise ship. It holds about 2,500 people. It's still very large, but it was filled with buffets and restaurants, and everywhere you look, free food and lots of meat. But what I did find was the restaurants were completely amazing as far as working with individuals who have any type of food allergy or intolerance. They take it very seriously. Now for me, I don't have an allergy to gluten, although I probably have a major intolerance which made my body not be able to act normally. So for me, I try to avoid now all gluten, obviously animal products, but it's very difficult to do both. And on the ship, I talked to the guy in charge, and he came over at dinner and he said, I'll take down some information, and then this will be in the file. You just give your room number and just say, hey, these are the special requests, and you can actually get the similar, meal every night if you wanted to. I found easier than that was going to the dining room, seeing what the vegetables were that came with the chicken dish or the steak dinner, and that's how I would order. I would just say, hey, I want the arugula salad that comes with the flounder. I want the green beans and the potatoes that come with the chicken. I want the carrots that come with the steak. I literally just went down the row. There was sliced avocado that came with some salmon dish. I said, give me the sliced avocado. And they did. They made it, for you, specifically for your needs. And on the ship dining area, like the main, it was kind of fancy. The portions were kind of small. So I was not, when you're eating vegetables, I did not care if I was like, okay, listen, I will take a double of those carrots, a double of those potatoes. I had to be careful with things like mashed potatoes because you don't know if there's milk and butter in those potatoes. And I would ask about the veggies, can you do it without butter? Just do some olive oil or something. And again, they were very accommodating. So a 7-night cruise, I was able to comfortably feel like I ate. Now, I did miss kind of those bread products that I can get here, on land, that's gluten-free and vegan. But, to order a gluten-free bread on a cruise ship, it's not going to be vegan. It's going to be made with eggs. It was nerve-wracking. I didn't know if I would have anything to eat, and I have a couple clips coming up. I'm just going to show you what I ate on the cruise the one night, and it was, you just had to figure it out. Like you'll see, I had some beans in there, and of course they put meat in with the beans, but I dealt with life and I picked around the meat, and you just do the very best you can. That's all we can do, and it worked out great. And my husband and I actually in 2020 just reserved our second cruise for his 50th birthday, and I felt confident. This is a 14-day. I thought, if I can make it on a 7-day, and everyone was very accommodating, I can certainly do a 14-day regular cruise line. Now we cruise specifically with NCL or Norwegian Cruise Lines. A lot of people have their favorite, whether it's Carnival or Royal Caribbean, Holland America. I know that all of the cruise ships really do accommodate well from what I've heard, but I am just strictly basing this as a plant-based vegan person on, you know, just from what I've learned from Norwegian. So just keep that in mind. This is a Norwegian cruise ship thing. But I'm really excited because I thought I had to take a specific vegan cruise. They have a holistic holiday at sea. I mean, it looks amazing. It's plant-based with all of the doctors. James Aspey, one of my favorite animal rights guys, he was just on last year's cruise, and it's specifically plant-based. All of the meals, you never have to worry about it. You know, and they have tons of, if you're plant-based, they have tons of gluten-free options anyway. So I thought if I was going to cruise, I only had to go that route. But no, as it turns out, you just make it work, and it really worked out. So I do encourage you plant-based eaters out there to not be afraid of the cruise ships. I'm not going to lie and say it wasn't tempting. I mean, there were a lot of foods there that I remember eating and enjoying, and it was tough. That aspect, that nostalgic aspect was tough. But it was also, on the flip side, amazing that you can accommodate and make it work when my biggest fear was I'm not going to have anything to eat for 7 days, and that wasn't true. So awesome. I give multiple props to Norwegian Cruise Line for accommodating me very well on the Norwegian Gem that sailed out of New York City. And I do recommend that specific cruise line for anybody looking for a nice getaway. We are ready to get on our Norwegian, it's called the Norwegian Gem. It's our cruise line. It's headed to Halifax and St. John's, and then comes down to Bar Harbor, Maine and Portland, Maine. And we're going to see how it does for plant-based on a regular cruise line. Leaves right out of New York City. And yep, we're about to get on. So we just are at the buffet in the cruise, and this is kind of what I had, you know, as far as an option goes. It was just chickpeas, black beans, olives, potatoes, and onions. I could have put on some greens. I'm always just, you know, wanting organic, and I know, like, if I don't have access to organic greens, I get a little iffy, but I just want to show you, like, this is kind of how I'm making do right now. Okay, so we're at the Grand, I believe it's called the Grand Pacific dining room. And so I went and I got the sides. I got some rice and some carrots. I saw black beans, so I ordered them, but sure enough, look at that. There's some meat in that, so gotta avoid that. And, you know, it's difficult trying to eat plant-based, but look at this beautiful view. There are cruises designated for vegans and vegetarians, and I can imagine that would be a lot easier. But for right now, we just kind of go with our sides. So it's going to be some rice and carrots and no beans.